the sun, the fields are alive. Cheering crowds and the teams collide. In these moments, we stand tall and free. First pride runs deep in me. With every touchdown, we rise and we cheer. Unity and spirit, the heart will hear. Raising voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zones below, football and cheers make our spirits grow. Girls in the game, they're fierce and bright. Flag in hand, they give it their might. From every town they bring their dreams. On this field of gold, nothing's as it seems. Together we shine, together we play. In Florida's heart, we own this day. Raise your voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zones go, football and cheers make our spirits grow. So here's to the game, we'll rise and stand. In Florida's field, we're a united band.
All right, it is Wednesday night. It is 7:30 Eastern time, and it is Happy National Cake Decorating Day. As we come to you live here on this Wednesday night, it is time for the Central Florida edition of the Blitz here on FloridaHSFootball.com. I'm Josh Wilson. That's Christopher Like over there. Glad to see y'all joining on here. I haven't seen anybody pop up on the chat. Usually Emery's the first one to comment, and I don't even see him in the chat yet. So I don't know if the chat's even functioning tonight or if it's working correctly or what. But I know the chat box is there. It's working, so it's on there. So I'm making sure everything's there. So
I know we got a few people on.
Yeah. We'll see here in a moment here as I'm trying to check in onto the show on the other side, on the YouTube side, and making sure that I can see everybody sitting there. But how you doing, my man?
Doing good. Been a long day. Had to get some things situated from last for next week. So.
Oh, absolutely here. And, well, nobody is in the chat. I just wanted to make sure that if anybody had tapped into the chat yet and see if it's a thing, but I don't see anybody in the chat necessarily yet. I wonder if people are out doing some stuff, but I don't know what's going on here, but we're here.
Maybe they're doing some early Christmas shopping.
Don't I need to start playing Jingle Bells yet? I'm just kidding.
Or maybe getting some steak nuggets from Arby's.
Well, coming up here, we'll have our interview with Michael Lischio Jr. from WNZF out of Palm Coast there, and we'll talk about like the Flagler County and the Volusia County side. I mean, we'll throw a little St. Augustine in because he's on St. Augustine, and they're doing really well. And but we talk more about St. Augustine on the Northeast Florida side, but we'll do that as we roll along here with everything here tonight here on the Central Florida edition of the Blitz here. And honestly, I got to say, looking at everything here, things were kind of interesting in Central Florida this past week as we get ready to go into the Blitz lines here as we get ready to go back and look back upon what was week number 8 in Central Florida here. Had something that they're trying to get something situated there. Okay, there we go. And with everything, no, that's not good. The timer is not wanting to go here. Hopefully I can get it to go here in a moment here. But anyways, just as we roll along here with everything as we roll along, and boy, looking at it, Chris, here, Vieira and Osceola, that was a little bit closer than I expected on that game. Woo!
Oh, yeah. Osceola got the daylight scared out of them.
They've gotten the daylight scared out of them in both of the district games, so I got some questions, and I don't know if there's some answers to that, but I mean, I got questions sitting there that I am just like, ooh, yeah, that one was a little too close, in my opinion, in terms of the with everything in terms of the numbers there, and it was not a pretty one, as it was a very close game. I'm sorry, I don't have the score right in front of me for some reason. Had a couple of things. I was getting ready to go on, and I went downstairs to go feed the cats here, and I'll tell you what, I keep getting an error occurred message. I don't know what's going on. It must be something going on in YouTube land tonight. I don't know what's going on, Emery. Because I've got it to pop up. Emery, why don't you go back and try again and see what's going on? And can you send me a screenshot as well on that, as what is showing? Because if we don't know what's showing, I can't help. I can't do anything about it. So because everything is, I have got a green check mark on ours that is showing that we are live on YouTube. So I apologize to anybody that's having issues tonight with the YouTube side of things. So there's nothing I can do about it. It sounds like this may be potentially a YouTube issue tonight.
Of course, YouTube has the ups and downs, so there you go.
Emery, are you trying to watch on your computer, or if you're trying to watch on your mobile device? Because I'm able to pull it up on my mobile device on the show here. I'm able to bring it up. So if you can see what's going on there, I don't know if it's saying an error occurred. I don't know what's going on, why it's doing that. So, but looking at it here, Ken, sorry, we're having I didn't expect the technical issues to start keep popping in all of a sudden here, but again, we've got a green check on our end, so it's not telling us we're having any issues going on the output on our end to YouTube.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on either. So.
Yeah, I've got it. Are you able to pull it up on yours, or on your device, Chris, as well?
Yeah, I'm able to pull it. Well, I got an error code on mine.
That is odd. Hold on 1 second. Let me check and see if there's something that happened in the YouTube settings on when I went into the YouTube studio earlier, because when I went in to make one edit, and it was not an edit that should have affected and impacted the settings for the rest of the show. So I'm kind of curious.
There we go. Yeah, I'm finally in.
Yeah, it's showing. It says live on my end, on the back end. It shows it here. So yeah. That's what's interesting.
Yeah, I can't pull up the chat. So that's another issue there.
Yeah, I've got the chat open on my end. I'm going to see what's happening here. Again, I apologize, everybody, if y'all are having issues with YouTube. I don't know what's going on. So I'm gonna do it from my side and see what happens here. All right, see what we got. Hello there. See if we can get it to goal here, because I don't know what's happening here. See, I was able to comment on my side, but I'm not.
Yeah, now I'm able to comment.
Okay, so we're starting to see, test on YouTube. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Everything on when I go to look at it here and what I'm showing, what I'm looking at here right now, it's showing me that, it's showing me there's real-time viewers on here. So I'm not sure what's going on at this particular moment, what's happening. But again, I apologize. That we're having some issues with the YouTube side of things. We'll probably have to take a look into it and see if YouTube is having a issue and see if YouTube down. Sorry, didn't spam the Blitz Lines. I'm trying to see if there's anything reported on the down. Yeah, there's some. Okay. All right. So here's the thing. I just went to down detector. It is showing quite a few people are saying that there's issues. So yeah, it's happening worldwide. So yeah, Yeah, Emery, yeah, just tell everybody right now if they can't get on the YouTube, get on the Facebook or X to watch the stream. I apologize. There's nothing I can do about it. This is a YouTube thing, unfortunately. So
Google's usually good about fixing these things right away, so it shouldn't last too long.
yeah, it looks like the report started just right around it kind of hit just as right around 7:00 here. So it just happened in the last half hour. So again, I apologize everybody for the thing. Real quick here, Winter Park Boone wins that game right there. Oviedo takes care of Lake Howe. Lake Brantley, woo boy.
Yeah.
And then Lake Mary takes care of Seminole, and they came back in that one. And then we thought Eastridge was going to have a chance at digging Stark Phillips. Yeah. What do I know about football? What do I know?
Yeah.
We'll take this piece of paper and just. Boy, that was the stuff from last night, so I didn't need it.
Yeah.
So yeah, let everybody know if you can't see us on YouTube. I am so sorry. Please let everybody know who usually watches us on YouTube. That would explain why people are having issues. It's not if you're on, we appreciate it. Again, it's definitely quite a few issues going on here that it seems like we're seeing right now on the YouTube side of things. But hopefully it will settle down here as we go through the evening here, because kind of disappointing. Maybe this explains why maybe some other issues going on. YouTube, maybe you shouldn't have messed with user handles.
Yeah.
So
Like mine.
Yep. Indeed.
I've had that for years.
Anyways. All right, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to have our interview with Mike Lischio Jr. from WNZF here. Pre-recorded interview. We'll be right back right after this here on the Central Florida edition of the Blitz here on FloridaHSFootball.com and the FloridaHSFootball.com social media handles.
I've been thinking about this for a long time. I thought, if that's out there, I want to make sure I see it and I get involved in it, because to me, this was music to my ears. I was blown away. When you look at today's kid, the millennium kid, they learn by being able to see it. If I can see it, it's a great chance that I can do it. The First Down Playbook is a tool that can essentially change the way we teach the game.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
High school sports fans, follow your team live with a free ScoreStream mobile app. Download ScoreStream to get real-time scores, photos, and awesome video. Plus, follow your favorite teams and friends. Get real-time high school sports from ScoreStream.
Get ready for the 2026 Coach of the Year Clinics. This February and March, see top collegiate coaches, learn from the best, and take your program to the next level. Don't miss America's most respected coaching clinics.
welcome back here to the Central Florida edition of the Blitz here on FloorNatureSports.com. Along with Josh Wilson, myself, that's Christopher Like. And joining us for the interview is Michael Lischio Jr., the sports anchor at WNZF over in Palm Coast, both on the AM and FM side of things there in Palm Coast. But a good master of knowing about everything's going on, especially in the eastern part of Central Florida. Also, some Northeast Florida stuff as well. We'll talk a little Northeast Florida in this as well. Just to forewarn y'all in this and as we go along here and everything. But Michael, appreciate you being able to take a few minutes of your time. I know you got a busy slate, so we're recording this right before our show and everything. But man, kind of just give us some insights of what we have seen so far, and in terms of the first 8 weeks going into week number 9, especially with the teams in Flagler County and Volusia County, because what we had last year, we probably gotta like, we may have overenjoyed or overindulged on what we saw last year from those teams, and this year it's not so much this way.
So yeah, I mean, it's a little more top heavy this year in the Flagler and Volusia area. The land is still top notch, as is Spruce Creek. And then, of course, Mainland, as always, who's currently ranked 68. And if you can find 67 teams better than Mainland, I'd like to see them. But there's been a lot of change in the area. There's been some coaching changes. Pine Ridge has a new coach. Atlantic has a new coach. University last year won 10 games, and they had 44 of 57 players from last year's team either graduate or move on, mostly graduate. It was a heavy senior team. So you've seen that happen. FPC had about 15 starters graduate, so they're kind of in the midst of rebuilding. They also had a coaching change. So it's been a little top heavy, but those teams at the top, DeLand and Spruce Creek, the only thing that's going to stop those two teams from making a deep run is that at some point they're going to have to play each other probably in the playoffs. Once they finish their regular season meeting, which DeLand currently leads 14-0, it's very rare that a team gets to sit on a 14-point lead for 2 months.
Oh wow! It's crazy to think about that and all that. But I mean, just how good is this DeLand team that Rick Darlington's got? I mean, we know that can we compare it to like the team that we just saw a couple of years ago that made the state semifinal run? Is this that good of a team, or could this be even a team even better that could contend for that 7A title this year?
The potential is there for them to be as good as that team. They were led by TJ Moore that year, and his brother Taj, as a sophomore, is probably the best 10th grader I've seen in Volusia County since Lorenzo Lingard. So that's telling you something. But Taj is a yard. I feel like he averages 40 yards a carry because I don't ever see him run for short yardage. FPC did a good job of keeping him kind of in check, but then of course they have Marcellus Carey, who's another home run hitter out at receiver, and they play single wing, so he gets a lot of carries as well. Gardner Norman, the quarterback, he is a quarter. He's what I call a Throwvember quarterback. I always say that in November you have to be able to throw the ball, and you don't necessarily have to throw the ball a lot. But Norman's a guy who can complete passes, keep the drive moving, and their defense is better this year, which last year that was a lot of DeLand's problem, is they could score 50 points, but they could give up 52. So I definitely think they have the potential this year, and of course they have the right coach. It's hard to argue that there's many better coaches out there than Rick Darlington. So if anybody can get the most out of his team and does, it's Rick Darlington.
I mean, wow.
So when it comes to the teams in the area, what are some of the teams that we haven't heard from that you think could be a spoiler in the playoffs this year?
Spruce Creek is not getting. They're undefeated, but they're not getting quite the love that some of the other teams in the area get. I think because of their 2 losses, people are sleeping on Mainland, even though Mainland has a brutal schedule. New Smyrna Beach, John Wilkinson's team could surprise some people. And one team I'm going to call out is currently, by the News Journal, the 5th best team in the area, the Seabreeze Sand Crabs. They are just a gritty team that finds ways to win. It doesn't always look the prettiest to the eyes, but they just keep finding ways to win. And finally, of course, my Matanzas Pirates. The Matanzas Pirates, 5-3, trying to make a push here at the end to possibly get into the postseason, and if not, the FIT.
No, absolutely. And hey, when we're looking at this, I mean, you talk about Matanzas, and it's interesting to think that Matanzas the better team right this second in Flagler County out of the two schools. But is it at some point, are we going to get a third high school in Flagler County to kind of help alleviate some things?
You would think, and I would have thought so too. And I would have thought that maybe when we reclassify next year, we might see some movement from Matanzas to a different class. I'm not sure though, because enrollment in Flagler County has remained relatively flat over the last 3 or 4 years. In fact, the fluctuation from year to year has been about 200 to 300 students in each direction. So there's not a lot of Flagler County's growing as a population, but not necessarily with a school age population. So I'm not sure that we will see that. Matanzas just added a beautiful addition onto their school last year that opened. So I don't think we're going to see a third high school in Flagler County, at least not for the next couple of years. I would say probably at least through this next classification cycle, I would expect that it'd just be FPC and Matanzas. And while we're talking about it, FPC 2-5, but they're a rebuilding team. They played the 49th toughest schedule, and I think when this schedule is said and done, they'll have a top 25 schedule in the state because they have a top 50 schedule, and currently the alarm goes off. The second half about to start here. And currently their next 3 opponents are Fleming Island, undefeated Yulee, and undefeated Spruce Creek. So FPC, if they can win a couple of these games down here at the end, they may be knocking on the door in Region 1 and 7A as well.
No, absolutely. And as when you talk about that, obviously you hit on Spruce Creek already. People are saying that Spruce Creek is basically flying under the radar, but you keep pointed back to Mainland. What is unique about this Mainland team? Given outside the scheduling, I know Coach Squatty Bell's got last year was his first year, taking over from his cousin Travis Rowland, who's up there at Camden County now in Georgia. But he seems to be, seems like now he's finally gotten his fingerprints fully around this program.
Well, starting with the schedule, if you see a team on Mainland's schedule that's not what you think is up to Mainland's level, it's probably a game that Mainland doesn't have a choice in playing, whether it's a district team like Bellevue or Seabreeze is on the rise, but Seabreeze has struggled these last few years. Those are games that Mainland has to play. So they fill their schedule with juggernauts the rest of the way. And you asked me what's the difference? I got one word for you: juice. Brian Simmons, the Volusia County native, he was at FPC last year. He returned home to go to the Mainland, and Juice does it all. He can return kicks. He's playing running back right now. He'd be a top flight wide receiver if they put him out at wide receiver. There's nothing that kid couldn't do. I've known Juice as a friend of the family, so I've known about him for a long time. I remember my nephew saying he was going to show out, and he has. But they've also got Sebastian Johnson, a talented quarterback. They've got a great receiving core. Dudley, their backup running back, he is a hammer of a running back. And then, of course, they've always got that aggressive defense. Guys like Dennis King who really make that defense very hard to play against.
Oh, wow. Absolutely. I'm going to hit on a team that I don't think anybody is really talking about, but they've already won a district title. That's Father Lopez. I mean, they're just kind of quietly hum-hoing along with under first-year head coach Mark Gabbard. And it's like, they beat Crescent City, which, everybody kept telling me up there in, Putnam County is like, Crescent City's going to win this district. Father Lopez hasn't played anybody. And it's like, well, here they are going to the playoffs.
And I think coach has been a breath of fresh air for the Green Wave. And they're a team that believes they can win, and sometimes that belief is enough. Crescent City, on the other hand, did have a coaching change right before the season. But, yeah, the Green Wave, they're rolling right now, and, you can only play the teams on your schedule. And, the teams on your schedule are always going to be your district teams. And so, yeah, there's a lot to be said. And the Green Wave are on their third coach in the last 4 years, so the fact that he's been able to get it up and running again so early is a pretty good sign of what the future is going to be down in Daytona for Father Lopez.
No, absolutely. And I'm going to hit on something here. And Chris, me and Chris have talked about this, and we talked about this on the Drive the State show last night. It's these FSA Max Preps power rankings that we see every week. There's just some head scratchers. I mean, there's going to be some conversations about reclassification, obviously coming up here in the next few weeks, that is going to lead to what we might see, what the first look of what the whatever it's going to look like, districts be, whatever it may be, before Christmas. What do you think? What do you think the FHA should do with all this? Because honestly, in my opinion, they got too many classifications to start with.
That I definitely agree. When the last time they had 8 classifications, there was close to 600 schools. Now there's so many schools that have left for the SSAA. When you have 450 schools, you don't need 8 classes. I think you go back down to 6 in a world class. You might even be able to go down to 5 in a world class if you really think about it, because there's 3 team districts. The rankings, I can't tell you. There was so much shuffling. I mean, in Matanzas' region, in Region 5A1, there was, the top 7 schools all shuffled places in 1 week. I can't imagine that something happened that dramatically changed things that much. So there's still some tweaking to be done with the formula, and we'll see what happens with that, because right now it's frustrating. And I said it, Mainland is ranked 68th in their rankings. There are not 67 teams better than Maine. I don't know if they're up there in the top 5 with the land and the alma mater, St. Augustine, where we have another glorious day here, sun shining on the alma mater. I don't know if they're up there in that group, but if they're not that far behind. They're probably a top 10, at worst top 15 program, and the rankings don't reflect that.
To piggyback off that off this playoff thing, we have the open division thing that we also discussed last night. We were both wildly opposed to it. What's your thoughts on the open division?
I'm warming up to it. I think I told somebody earlier that I'm not sure how I felt about it, but if it works out for one of my teams, I'll take the extra game check. But I think the more I think about it, it's more like a bowl system. It's almost like, we're going to have kind of a bowl system. I think the mistake they made last year was only having it in one class. So when you're limited to one class, and that class being a world class, which is a smaller class, you're going to get a lot of teams with bad records. If you look through this list of teams, there's a lot of interesting matchups that could be happening. Palm Bay Heritage is a very good team. They are currently in that, as is Tate. We've talked about that off the air. Royal Palm Beach, another team. Of course, the Matanzas Pirates. So the more I think about it, the more it grows on me, because I am thinking of it more of as you didn't make the CFP, you're going to the Gator Bowl, you're going to the Outback Bowl. I'm kind of looking at it that way, and that's kind of where I've changed my outlook on it. I like it better doing the bottom 16 that didn't make the playoffs rather than taking the top 16 out of all the brackets. So I think this is a better way to do it.
Let me throw a question out. Let me throw this out to you. Do you think it'd be better if the FHA seeded the teams north and south and do 1 through 16 and 1 through 16, and whoever is the top 16 is in, and if you won your district but didn't make the top 16, you're out?
I still think the districts have to mean something. I don't have a problem with going 1 through 16 as long as we can account for travel. Because the schools I cover, St. Augustine in 4A, Matanzas in 5A, FPC in 7A. Not so much now that we've gotten back to the 8 classes, but 4A and 5A. Those teams have very long first round trips. So I think if you're going to expand it to be 16, you've got to account for there might be even more travel. I've always thought the solution in Region 1 was always to go the other way, where you take the top 4, you take the top 8 teams, and then 4 of them east of Tallahassee, the 4 of them west of Tallahassee stay in their own brackets of the regional files, so nobody's having to make these cross-state trips like Choctaw has had to do through the years. St. Augustine's had to do through the years. New Smyrna Beach had Escambia here, and then went to Escambia another year. Those schools are 428 miles apart. That's a lot to ask in a first-round game.
Yeah, wow, that's impressive. And real quick, as we wrap this up here, what makes St. Augustine such a good team that there's top 25 team here now?
Well, I'm going to turn my phone real quick. The Florida Georgia Hall of Famer Brandon James.
Oh, wow.
We're in the presence of greatness. And, Coach Braddock just, St. Augustine does what they do. And, they've got a system, they've got a program, and they just, develop the kids. And so I think just year after year, it's just, Brian Braddock, St. Augustine High School class of 1999, like myself. I think a lot of people slept on Brenton James, the quarterback. He was replacing Lockwood, who's now at USF. And a lot of people were sleeping on saying, oh, well, they don't have the quarterback to get there. But you know what? Brenton James has become one of the top passers in the area. He has Trendell Anderson in the backfield. He has Samari Wingo on the outside. That offense can score with anybody, but they can also get stops when they need to. And I think that's the thing that's improved over the last few weeks is their defense has gotten better. Much like a couple years ago, where in the first month of the season, the defense wasn't that good. And then as the year went on, it got better. And before you knew it, they were a top defense leading a team to a state championship. So I don't see any reason why St. Augustine won't be at least a regional finalist this year.
Impressive. And real quick, Michael, tell everybody where they can listen to you with your sports reports on WNZF.
So we have the sports reports on Fridays and Mondays on WNZF.com, on 94.9 FM, and on the Flagler Radio YouTube channel, and as well as the Rich and Mike Sports Show Saturday mornings at 11:30 a.m. That's also posted on the Flagler Radio YouTube channel. And you can listen to our high school games. We cover FPC and Matanzas Friday nights on WNZF.com, the Flagler Radio app, and 94.9 FM and 1550 AM.
Awesome. Well, Michael, I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us and talk about what's going on in the eastern parts of Central Florida with the teams there in Flagler and Volusia County and a little bit of St. Johns County. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Josh and Chris. Appreciate it, guys.
All right. All right. That was Michael Lischio joining us from WNZF there, and good wealth of knowledge there, especially for the teams that maybe not as people think Central Florida, but hey, you got these teams in Flagler County, Volusia County, they're just as part of this region, and it is. He's right. It is top heavy this year for them.
Yeah, it is, and you got St. Augustine sitting there. You got DeLand, Bruce Creek. I mean, there's a lot of heavyweights in that area, so.
No, absolutely. And all right, when we come back, we're going to have the pick six for week number 9 here on the Central Florida edition of the Blitz. We'll be right back right after this. All right, we're going to come back here and just not take the second commercial break because we are a little short on time here. So we're going to get right into it here. It looks like YouTube's starting to work. It's starting to settle out here, and that's good news in some aspects. So hopefully that won't be an issue all night. So again, we apologize. Oh boy, yeah, I just got some news on my end that I have to deal with, but let's go ahead and roll this out here real quick here and get into our pick six here real quick here with this on the show here. All right, it is time for the pick six here. Let me remove that out of here. There we go, and bring it up here. We're gonna start with the Hopakalaga and St. Cloud. St. Cloud, a 23-point favorite here on this one here. And Chris, real quick, rapid fire, who's your pick?
St. Cloud.
All right. I'm going with St. Cloud as well here on this one here. And so is Reno as well on this one. All right. Next up is Spruce Creek taking a trip down to Seminole to take on the Fighting Knolls, who came up short against Lake Mary last week. Spruce Creek 6-0, Seminole 3-4. Spruce Creek a 28-point favorite here.
Not going to be pretty. Give me Spruce Creek.
All right, Spruce Creek it is, and along with this here, and I'm gonna Reno's going Spruce Creek as well on this one, and forgive me for a little bit of slowness here for a moment here as we roll along here because I'm just putting in. All right. Sorry, I'm putting in Reno's picks here real quick here so that way I can get to the other side because I've got I'm sorry, guys. It's something's. I've got a little bit of an issue going on here. So, but St. Cloud is Spruce Creek is my pick, and so is Chris's pick as well here. And as you see there, Spruce Creek a 99% chance on winning this game here. All right. Up next is Winter Park 3-4, Atacoa 5-2. Boy, this one's interesting, but where do you go with this one?
Ocoee's going to win big time. And there's no chance to win a North Carolina thing.
Ocoee, yeah, I'm gonna roll with Ocoee as well on this one at home, and Ocoee gets their 6th win as well. All right, up next is East Ridge and South Lake. East Ridge a 15-point favorite over South Lake. Win probability 91%. What do you do with this one here?
Give me East Ridge. South Lake doing pretty good, but I think too much firepower on East Ridge.
This one I want to disagree with my computer on. I'm going to go with Brad Lord's group and go with South Lake here. All right, up next is Evans and Lake Mary. 16-point favorite over Lake Mary. Evans 92% favorability on winning this game. Do you think this is accurate or not?
I do not think it's accurate. I think Lake Mary's going to win this thing at home. Tough place to play for Evans.
I'm going to go with Lake Mary because I feel like Lake Mary has gotten back on track here and get their 5th win. So, but Reno's taking Evans. He took South Lake on the last one. And then last but not least, we have Dr. Phillips and Edgewater.
Give me Edgewater.
Edgewater. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to go with Edgewater as well. I think Edgewater's has been too much firepower, and I think what Dr. Phillips showed last week will not necessarily translate into a W this week. So that's where I stand at here as we wrap this up here. All right. That is our pick 6. Sorry for the rapid fire on pick 6 tonight here on this one here. So we're going to roll off of here real quick here. We should be back on at 8:15. Just stand by in case I do have to deal with something here. So let me go and I will be back here, and we'll be back here hopefully here in a few minutes. I apologize, but we'll see you back here on the show here, Chris, here in a moment here. So appreciate everybody watching here as we wrap this up. Thank you.